the biggest thing is, like, we as a country are like to believe, think ourselves as humanitarians, but a lot of people are like, well, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, and that's just crap in my opinion. And if there's something we can do to help anybody who's been inflicted by anything like that, that's something I was really on board with.
I went into Flyover restaurant simply because I like the restaurant and I like their food, and I really liked the environment there. And I sat down, and much to my surprise, on a late Friday night, one of the drinks on the menu said relief. And then I read the description, and it said that they were pledging a certain amount of their proceeds to sort of a relief aid fund. And I was just really taken by it because living in Columbia, Missouri, you don't necessarily come into contact with a lot of people that think about or discuss the situation that Puerto Rico is in. So to go into a restaurant that was adding a drink on their menu that specifically focused on what was going on in Puerto Rico was surprising. I immediately asked to speak with the owner, who I guess was behind the idea. And then I learned, the structure there, their co-owners, Dan and Adam. And I met them both, and I sincerely thanked them. And that very night I went home and I wrote them an email, and I said, how wonderful I thought it was that they were taking on that project, and suggested that if they'd like to collaborate in the future, I would be interested in doing that.
And then we exchanged emails, and he got back in touch with me talking about the kind of the tour that was going to be coming up for the summer, and if we'd be able to kind of kick off the tour at Flyover.
So it worked out that we then could schedule something right before we were getting ready to leave for the East Coast. So, they're going to help us kick off that portion of the tour.
The next day, Dan was talking about the idea that they had, and hey, like, what do you think about this? We're already doing the relief cocktail, and they had this idea of touring the country and doing a live music thing, and to raise awareness, and they want to kick it off at Flyover, and I was like, that's awesome.
When it kicks off at Flyover, it's going to be on Friday, March 16th. There's going to be two music sets, one at the kind of early part of service and another one late. So the first set will start right around 5 p.m. and go for an hour, and then the second set will start probably around 9:30 p.m. and also go for about an hour. The goal is to raise awareness for the national tour, let people know how they can get involved. I think that's going to be probably the most important, longer lasting outcome of this is, we definitely want people to give money at the event. We definitely would like to raise money that night. But if people know how they can keep giving and how they can stay informed and follow both the tour and events that are going on in Puerto Rico, then I think it'll be a success. It's not going to be a ticketed event. It'll be free for everyone. But we'll pass around a tip bucket. We'll hand out some flyers, and again, just let people know what they can do if they want to be involved.
That night, I think Dan's gonna be working on some cocktails. But what I'm working on is I have my two friends who are from Puerto Rico. I'm gonna try to work with them in the next couple of weeks to put together some pick their brain on like some recipes and things that they would use from there, and try to do a variation on a theme here that night, and try to bring a little bit of Puerto Rico here to the Midwest with the food. I think it'd be kind of fun to have the music, and then the awareness and the drinks and the food, and just kind of make it as focused as we can on the nation of Puerto Rico. It's
interesting because you'd wonder what people in the middle of Missouri would have in connection with people on an island, it's south of the whole country. But I think what a lot of it comes down to is, when we were talking about what's really important to us about the restaurant, was kind of bringing a community together through food, right? And that sense of community, I think, is something that I think that's why we care, because we are still part of the same community. And the more that we get to learn about each other, I think it'll only strengthen that.
What I do think is serendipitous and very rewarding is that in collaborating with Flyover, I feel like an organization like Friends of Puerto Rico that supports the arts and the humanities, and an organization like Flyover, which is owned by two former musicians in their day, now everything has sort of come together. My love of food and cooking, and my appreciation for all the different kinds of arts, and of course my dedication to music as a profession has all of a sudden come together, and we're doing something to help protect something that's meaningful to me because of my heritage and my background.